Hey guys, be checking out this video. Not on stream, by the way. This is like off stream because, you know, Twitch doesn't really like this kind of stuff. So I wanted to check it out off stream. Ghost Stories is kind of this infamous anime, and I wanted to check out some of the scenes from it.
Remember, if it wasn't for me, your friend would be headlining in heaven. Or according to Born Again Betty, hell, since after all he is Jewish.
I'm not, bruh. I'm not gonna lie, I freaking love this dub. Like, this dub is so funny. And like, a lot of people don't know about it. So this is like an old anime dub for a show called Ghost Stories. And there's like a lot of weird lore about it, but we'll look into the lore later. But it is considered to be one of the best anime dubs of all time, but for all the wrong reasons. It's not even accurate to the original story. It's just, they just made shit up basically. Like, this is like a completely different thing than the original Japanese. So the original Japanese one was like a kid show. It was like kind of along the lines of like Pokemon. And this is not a kid show.
You, what do you want?
Thanks a lot, man.
Huh? Right, you are retarded.
True.
I'm all alone, forgotten, like a black family in Bush, America.
I mean, I like Terry O'Quinn and all, but that guy's a freak. Isn't it being Andrew
There's so many political jokes in here. It's like, it just does not stop.
still screwing Barbara Hershey? Remember her lips?
But the sad thing is though, is like actually a lot of the cultural references, they kind of fall off because I don't really know them. I'm not really like a movie or pop culture person, so I don't really know a lot of the references that they're bringing up, to be honest. It's just kind of like whatever. So sometimes I'll mention some names and I'll be like, I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Beaches? And why do fags like that movie so much? God.
Bruh.
Oh, perfect. It's in Japanese. Jing Chao Nong Ding Dao. Wait, that's Chinese. Luckily, I can read barricade.
Me too, I can also read barricade.
A police station! Thank God! I never thought I'd be happy to see one of those things. Hey, put the donuts down! Drop the Krispy Kreme serpent coat! We need your help
Didn't
here!
my house look like my father and my brother after 9 masters?
Yeah,
They were tempted.
This is the actual dub, by the way. Like, for real. Like, this isn't like an abridged anime. Some people have like called this the origin of abridged, and that this is the abridged anime before abridged anime. But it's not actually abridged. It's actually like the whole thing. But it has kind of the same vibe. But you know, and also another thing, this is from like back in the day, so it's kind of spicy. Like there's some spicy shit in here.
By fruit. And they knew they were sinful
you're
and
not
naked
going
without
to hell.
Jesus. Hello, sinner.
God, can you go bomb an abortion clinic or something?
You just... Wait, when that wonderful president finishes stacking the Supreme Court, we won't have to. Don't forget what I told you about premarital sex.
They made like this character like super Christian, like in like a parody way.
Abstinence only got it.
I still think it's funny though.
Stupid rabbit. Come on, jump.
I said jump!
It's not right to teach a child to respond with violence. He should follow the example of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and forgive his persecutors.
Yeah, and take a look at what happened to him.
You're not helping.
Maybe Momoko is right. You should go Gandhi and show kindness to your enemies, and by doing so, turn them into friends.
You're a and he should join the football team.
It's kind of crazy because like before you could just say that. Right, like you could just say that and like nobody, it wasn't like a big deal, right? But like now, saying that word is like the biggest deal ever. Like you're literally the worst if you say it.
Where's the damn cat?
Buddy!
What? Ketero, what are you retarded? Obviously. Which way did he go? Now we'll never find out who the ghost is. I hope to God you're adopted.
That's it! That's what I'm talking about! Pump! 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 Think of a big black man chasing you!
Comedy was different back in the day, man. This was back when like we didn't get offended at like literally everything. It's like crazy like how much culture has changed since then. Like we get so offended by everything now, right? Like every little thing is like some kind of front to your existence. If somebody makes some kind of joke about, you know, some group that you belong to. And I feel like people were a lot less offended back in the days. People joked around more, and like honestly, like I think people were less racist back then too, actually, to be honest. I feel like there's a prevalence of people now that are being actually racist because of this whole divisiveness that was created, like to have a you know, like a race battle between the different races, like, oh, like, you know, white people are the worst, and then like then you have people on that side being told that, you know, their race is the worst forever, and like, okay, well, you know what, maybe like you should stop, like just basically saying like, oh, black people are the worst, brown people are the worst, and like it's like, where does it where can you go except that when you're unreasonably being told that you're the worst, like through actual racism, right? And like I feel like back in the day, like during this era, and like, you know, after it, even for a couple of years, people would make racial jokes at each other. Like I said, like I bring up the case all the time of like the Counter-Strike lobby. You had friends cracking racial jokes all the time about each other, and I know people did that to me, you know, like try to bums a hubba and stuff like that, right? And like people make like Asian jokes and stuff, and it's like I didn't care. And then when people made fun of the black person in our group, nobody cared, right? It's like they would make these jokes, but there wasn't the venom behind them. Like there wasn't any realness behind it. It was just people fucking around, right? And since like we got to a point where like we all have like sticks up our asses, where like we can't even take the slightest offense to like any sort of characteristic that we have, I feel like the world has gotten more racist. So like I think we have the worst of both worlds now at this point.
Bobby, please forgive me for bringing you back to life. I know now that it could never work between...
This is my favorite episode. It's the Shiratabi one.
Shiratabi, please forgive me for bringing you back to life. I know now that it could never work between us. As much as we wanted to, it could never be. Not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black.
You'll have to catch me first, fat ass.
Come back here, you coward!
You lose weight, you'd move faster.
Dude, I wonder like what happened to like how did the voice actors about this feel now, right? Because you have people like Jimmy Kimmel, right, who's like going on the Man Show in blackface and making all of these jokes about women, and now he's like the most sensitive guy on late night. Like, how do you I wonder how he feels like whenever someone brings up like a video, an old video of him from like, you know, it's not even like it's hidden either, right? Because like he was in show business for such a long time. It's like, how much stuff does he look at and he's just like, oh fuck. It's like, and the thing is they have an absolute purity thing, right, where you even things that you did in the past don't matter. Like people will come after you for it. Like you're forever a sinner. So like, how do they deal with that? How do these voice actors deal with this, right?
Hold it right there.
Oh, the music teacher, what a bitch.
When he died, I was so sad that I would never hear that voice again. His laugh,
Touch me. Touch me.
his funny little requests,
Touch me.
his reprimands.
Touch me harder.
Now get out of my way! I'm getting my little brother!
Mop girl!
You're on our side? Wait a minute, what's your angle? What happened to my leg?
If you break it, your little brother's going to the retarded school in the sky.
Pardon me. I really enjoyed running with you today. Don't you have any money for shoes? Did the Crips beat you up and take yours too? They took mine, and now my dad only buys me cheap ones from Payless.
Yeah, genius.
This Payless even still exists.
We should get out our best stationery and our pins and ask Amy Grant for those 3 wishes.
Look what I've got.
Yo, Sensei, Dave, what's haps on the craps with snaps?
Cracker.
The piano thing? I'm sure I'll live a long, miserable life of heartbreak and alcoholism before a ghost takes me out.
If you like, thank you.
I
cute
told you I'm going
pajamas.
to be fine. Why are you still crying?
Because these pajamas are gay.
Damn it, I just said those were good pajamas. What the fuck? So I can't believe this. I can't believe this, guys. So there's actually like a lot of interesting lore behind this. So the lore behind it commonly spoken of is that the show did so badly in Japan that when it came to America, they were like, fuck it. They just like gave it to the voice actors and they're like, yeah, do whatever. Don't care, right? However, I did a little bit of digging and I see that the story is actually more complicated than that. So there's this thing where sometimes anime, when it gets localized overseas, gets sold, the rights get sold in a bundle. And so the original story was that Ghost Story was involved in one of these bundles. And that could be true still, I'm not sure, right? But the idea was that it was so bad that they were just trying to recoup their losses by selling the rights overseas to whoever. And as this was included in one of those bundles, when they got in America, they were like, yo, this story is so bad. It did so bad in Japan that like, fuck it. Like, we're just going to give it to our voice actors, put no money into it, and just they could just make up whatever the fuck that they want. And that's like the lore behind it. But I did a little bit of digging into it. And apparently it actually didn't flop in Japan. It actually outperformed Pokemon and Doraemon in some slots. Like when it aired, some episodes actually did better than Pokemon and Doraemon. And those two shows are huge hits in Japan. Pokemon's still running to this day. So like it wasn't an absolute flop. It did pretty well. And again, was neck and neck with some of the heaviest hitters, right? So looking more into it, it looks like there's this guy named Stephen Foster. He's like the ADR director. And he had a reputation for strange localizations, like just kind of being weird about like, because, okay, so when you have an anime, right? And then you bring it over to a different country, you have to take into account that people in like the country, like in America, don't understand Japanese culture. They don't know anything about, you know, Japanese like sayings. So you can't do like a direct one for one, right? There might be some puns, there might be some cultural references, like knock on wood or something, right? Like it doesn't make any, like what does that even mean, right? Like things like that. They have like their own cultural sayings. So it makes sense for me that they would have a person that would be in charge of like kind of making sure that the show, when it's dubbed in English, kind of understands that. And you know the infamous translator note, right? Translator note, people die when they're killed, right? Something like that. So it makes sense for there to be a person who's like in charge of like making sure that people understand like what the thing's about and to like actually properly convey the story, right? But this guy, apparently, he had such a reputation for just being fucking weird about the localizations that he was in charge of. Again, he's the ADR director of it, right? That they actually had a term for it. They would call it a fosterization. Again, the guy's name is Stephen Foster, right? They'd be like, oh yeah, like that show's been fosterized or whatever, right? This guy had this reputation for that, right? So was it because of that? Like it came to America, and was it because of this guy, Stephen Foster, that it kind of got like kind of messed up? And again, guys, I love this dub. Like I actually love this dub so much. It's like a legendary dub, right? It's like maybe he was right all along, right? But he had a reputation for like people like getting mad at him. Like it was a negative term for him absolutely fucking shit up, right? But we wouldn't have this absolute peak masterpiece without him fucking it up, right? But my personal speculation of it, like after like kind of reading a lot of the information on it, this is honestly like what I think happened. I think, you know, again, this is just my speculation, is that culture doesn't translate to the USA, obviously, right? Especially in something like this. Like there's these Japanese monsters that like kids would like in Japan would grow up like understanding all of this folklore that, you know, like fairy tales, Japanese ones, specifically for Japanese people. But in America, kids don't know that. Nobody knows about that, right? So I think what happened was they got this and they were like, bro, what the fuck do we do with this? Because there's so much, it's so Japanese. All of the monsters are Japanese. The schools are Japanese. A lot of the cultural stuff is Japanese. How do we even possibly go about like doing a dub of this, right? But you know what was popular at that time? Stupid, silly cartoons like South Park. South Park was popping off. So like, what if that's what happened? They were like, you know what's popular? South Park. Let's just fucking do that, but anime. And this was their chance to do it because they had a piece that would have been incredibly difficult to work with. So rather than going through the difficult job of like, how do we explain this, like even in a way that's not gonna make sense. And also, like, a lot of people that do want like those cultural references, they're just gonna watch the sub anyway. So what's even the point of doing the dub? And that might have been like what went through their mind, right? And he was like, you know what, I'm making an executive decision, guys, we're just doing anime South Park. And that's what led to this, like what led to Ghost Stories as we know it today, the English dub, and again widely regarded as the origin, like the OG inspiration for a bridge series. Now, do we have Stephen Foster to blame, or do we have him to thank for this? I guess it depends where you come from, right? Me, I'm thankful, to be honest, because I love this. I wish we had more silly stuff like this. And you know, kind of like that whole era of just kind of edgy adult cartoon, like, you know, not like hentai, but like edgy adult, like humor, dark humor, edgy humor, dark humor cartoons was such a hit back in the day. And that's even why you have something like Panty and Stocking today as well, right? The directors came over, watched American cartoons and were like, holy shit, like what is this, right? Because like anime is so different, right, from American cartoons. So they saw that and they're like, what the hell? Let's do one of these, right? And then you have something like Panty and Stocking that has like very obvious Western, like Craig McCracken, like sort of inspirations to it. So actually we used to watch it on Twitch watch parties before, because you could watch it because it was on Prime. I think you can. Yes, you can. It is still available on Prime Video. So if you go over on Amazon Prime, you can watch the entire series dubbed. And it says here that the dub is from the 2000. So this is like quite old. But you can watch the full Fosterized dub on Amazon. And while you're at it, by the way, if you get that Prime, did you know you could sub to the Leaflit channel on Twitch for free with your Prime? Get ad-free viewing, help support me for free, takes money out of Bezos's pocket, puts it into mine. Don't you want to do that, chat? All right, that was the Ghost Stories dub. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Peace.